Broken down and defeated, deterred, busy and confused, sleeping. You're dying while I wait to get started. On the journey chosen, wasted, now it's selected. I was so bad, what happened? For the sky and crush me in my smile. I was so bad, what happened? For the sky and crush me in my smile. Sober, sad and jaded. Then upcoming, they're broken down and defeated. You are dying while I wait to get started. You are dying while I wait to get started. I was so bad at what happened. Fall out of the sky, yeah. Push me in my smile. I was so bad at what happened. Fall out of the sky and crush me in my smile.
I'm a motherfucking unicorn, a one-of-one. The vibe being the love and light, the enlightened one. My karma is interstellar, I live by truth. Fighting evil, my scars are living proof. Protecting you from the storms with all my might. Love me, I will treat you right. You ever cross me, it's the last thing you'll ever do. With my crown of thorns, I'll wreck you. I ain't playing, yo, Bryan hard, call me a saint. Too bad Chris, because Bigfoot knows my name. I'm a messenger of God, with loyalty I serve, taking out all evil with his holy word. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand, slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee. A true Knights Templar, sword in hand, slice you up, bury you in the sand. I'm a motherfucking unicorn, you'll never find anyone like me. Born in the Bronx, raised in NYC, so listen up, take heed. I float like a butterfly, sting like a bee.
Crossing Realms Conference is coming this September 19th and 20th to the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri. Tickets to this landmark event are on sale right now at Eventbrite. The powerful speaker lineup will cover topics from Bigfoot, UFOs, and aliens, so you will not want to miss attending this amazing 2-day inaugural event. Again, that's the Crossing Realms Conference, this September 19th and 20th at the Eagleton Civic Center in Richmond, Missouri. Please mark your calendar and get your tickets before they vanish. Space is limited.
Holy Michael the Archangel, defend us in battle. Be our protection against the wickedness and snares of the devil. May God rebuke him, we humbly pray. And do thou, O Prince of the heavenly hosts, by the power of God, thrust into hell Satan and all the other evil spirits who prowl through the world, seeking the ruin of souls. Amen and amen.
Just make sure you're not naked when you come on. I think we're live. Hold on. I'll see you in a minute. Hi, welcome to Third Eye Live with your host, Bryan Bowden. I'm going to bring up the other host, which I was talking to a minute ago, and that's Mark Eddy right there. Just want to make sure you're okay and find Mark. I was only playing around. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
I should
we're
hang
good.
up now.
Hang up now. Heavy breathing and
Okay.
but thank God I'm looking at the chat. Like let's go. But we're gonna bring our guest on in a second. But I just wanna welcome some people in the chat. Michelle Brandenburg is here. It's good to see you, Michelle. Al, the big Ragu Santa Riga. He stopped by to say hi to everybody, and Katie didn't say hi to Mark yet. Well, I mean, I don't know. One of our favorites as well, John Straw Dog's here. Midwest PA in the moment. Oh, well, this should be a fun trip. Look, I'm here. And then we have a couple more in here. Look, hey, Kitty Cat. It's good to see you, Michelle.
She's on every show.
But because she loves, watching good content. We appreciate you, Kitty Cat. And then we have a newbie here, Patrick from the NADP. He's a great guy. He's doing some work besides looking for Dogman. We're getting involved in all this stuff. So I said, welcome, Patrick, and we will get through. Thank God. John said the notifications came through. Yeah, I played around a little bit with the settings on YouTube, and it's about time they started coming through because it really messes up a show, But since Laura's not here, okay, Nana, like, share, comment, put the thumbs up, and if you do have questions for Katie, or you can put them in caps, and we'll throw them up, and we'll see what she gets and pulls from it. So, but without further ado, our guest is a psychic medium, tarot card reader, Reiki Master, spiritual counselor, vibration sound healer, and a ton more. Let's bring in Katie Ciriello. Welcome.
Hi, Katie.
Hello. Hi.
Hi. I don't know why things did what they did, but let me just get rid of that one. And you're going to get the top right square where Mark would have been, and you can go for the block. Only joking. That's a Hollywood Squares thing. Yeah, I think Katie was like, what did I get myself into? But we like to have fun here. It's not just, it's not just pretty faces on this show. Al says hello to you, Mark. It's about time.
Yep.
Oh, it's Nana's birthday. So, yeah, she's out pounding down some Southern Comfort or something like that. But it's great to welcome you to the show. And let's get into how we met. I broke some selenite. So I'm in the New York metro area. And the only place I go to shop, because it's actually the only place to shop as well, without going all the way up, to Route 22, we went to the Custom Crystal Creations of Dobbs Ferry, New York. And you guys have a wonderful selection, and we were in there, and we just started to chat. And I said, "Oh, you told me what you do, but we're going to have you tell everybody in this audience about you. It's also in the description." And I said, "Well, I need a guest for the 23rd. You want to come on?" And you said, "Yes." Wow. Only joking. Uh, so welcome, Katie, to the broadcast, and to all these people that are popping in chat. Um,
Okay.
and so I'm going to be popping in these little things on the below the screen. That these are the comments, and I should probably put on the comment. It's a little thing that goes on the bottom of it over there. But I met you working at this wonderful shop in Dobbs Ferry. But tell everybody who you are, what you do. What are your gifts, talents, and abilities? How you got, and then we'll get into how you started, because I think most people don't realize it's not like one day you wake up, Uncle Fred's dead. Like, how do they know that? So I'll take it away, Katie.
Okay. Well, you're right about that. It doesn't happen like one, two, three. You just don't wake up doing this at all. In fact, I never imagined in my life before this happened that I would actually be doing what I'm doing at all. Nothing.
Yeah.
Because my background is actually I have a degree in social work. I was a social worker,
Right.
and I was working in the New York area, and working there's plenty of work in for social workers in New York, and I was doing that for quite a long time, and I didn't have the psychic awareness that came later. And this is what happened, because I was what you would call a conventional social worker. And
Right.
I didn't use any of my intuitive abilities or anything like that. I didn't even know I had them, really. And what happened is I had a health crisis. This is what happened to me.
Ooh.
I had a very serious health crisis where I had Lyme disease. I ended up having chronic fatigue syndrome. I don't know if you remember that. That was back a long time ago.
Yep.
Yep. And I basically I had an autoimmune obviously disorder, and it was bad. And it basically stopped me in my tracks. So I know now that it happened for a reason, because otherwise I would have kept doing what I was doing, and I wouldn't even know anything about what we're talking about now, because
Right.
I wasn't really doing any of that. So I ended up I'm not what I consider traditional in any way, except when I was doing social work. But my personality is kind of like, out there. I don't do things like everybody else. I like to do things, in a certain way that, um, it just represents who I am. So anyway, I wasn't able to get help with the traditional medicine. It just didn't work for me. I had to follow a certain protocol for a while, which did help with the Lyme disease, but it did not help my immune system in other ways. I was just
Right.
really in bad shape. So I had never been sick in my life, so I never really knew what it was like to have a serious chronic, condition. And basically, I was bedridden for quite a while. I couldn't really function, and it really forced me to look at myself and everything completely in a new way. And I realized at that point that, um, you know, traditional medicine, or whatever you want to call it, wasn't going to work enough for me. So I had to really let myself explore and see what's out there that could help me. And I knew I was on a healing journey. That was definitely what I knew I had to do. And in doing that, I opened myself to all kinds of new experiences, is what I'd say. You know, Meeting all kinds of healers, going for different kinds of, treatments. I just knew that that's what I was supposed to do, but I didn't know what it was going to end up, helping me to do in the long run. So it was really interesting because I loved having those experiences. And what I'm talking about is doing things that, most people would never even think about it. Um, just going for shamanic healing,
Right.
getting involved in esoteric types of things that, what I'm sure you understand, and like to me, that's normal. And I love that because it really lets you, experiment and experience. And I realized that at that point, I started learning and studying more about psychic development and also energy work. And I knew that that was going to be a big thing for me, that it was going to help me really be this person that I'm meant to be. And I mean, it took, this is not like it took, a year. I mean, this was over a period of a long time.
Yeah, yeah.
But I met the most amazing people. I I'm not saying it was easy, but I really discovered that I had intuitive skills that were there, and that there were things happening in my life that I never imagined before, and I started to learn how to develop more of my intuitive senses. And that was really important for me because once I started doing that and I really found the right people to help me do that, it opened up the whole different world for me. And I started to see that we're not just human beings here. We
Yeah.
are, but what we are spiritual beings, and we are much more than we can even imagine sometimes. So it was really for me, getting sick was the best thing that happened to me, and
Well,
it changed the whole course of my life
you know it.
because,
Yeah.
yeah, go
That's
ahead.
now you're here. That's and you're doing what you're doing. But isn't it interesting that if you've asked a a plethora of people who have been now in touch with their psychic abilities or going through an ascension, there's usually some kind of health event that people get hit by, and
Hmm.
then the next thing you know, they're the ghost whisperers or whatever else you want to
Right.
call them. So I don't think it was an accident that you
No.
had the Lyme disease and then you were forced into how am I going to fix this? So continue on, please. I'm going to go.
Well, I tend to be very resourceful. So once I was really sick, I knew I was going to have to do a lot of work to figure out what I needed and what I had to do. So um, that's my nature. So the thing for me was basically seeing myself on this spiritual healing journey. My body healed. I got what I needed. I started to really want to do this work myself. This is the new person that I was becoming. But
It,
that's
it,
I know in a way I've always been that person, but it was like I finally realized what I was here to do and why I was meant to do this work.
do
So
you see it like a calling?
I feel it's my soul. My soul is letting me, helping me to see that this is really what I'm here to do. I'm meant to use these gifts, these abilities to help other people, because it's really the experiences I went through allowed me to understand and be more, I guess, compassionate and more empathetic, really, to help people also with their crises and their situations. Because I think for me, and I don't think I'm the only person here, but when people go through this, they, you speaking from your truth and what you've experienced. And how could that be better, than to explain to somebody who, when you don't know anything about it? I mean, you really understand to that point. And I think that's what spirit wanted me to do, to be able to get to that place. And that's what I've been doing all along. Um, I just love this so much. I love all these things that are esoteric and metaphysical because I feel that there's so much to learn and there's so much to explore. And I'm one of those people. I have no hesitation doing that. And I think that's part of the reason why I'm able to do what I'm doing now, because I don't close down, I keep myself as open as I can. And I'm not saying like I believe everything, of course, but I give things a chance. and I try to look at look at everything from a bigger perspective, because that's really important. And that's how I do my work. I mean, now I do. I continue to grow in. I try to grow in my spiritual evolution. In terms of what I want to practice and how I want to study and what I want to do with it. Because I feel like it never stops. It never ends, because we're always growing and moving. Nothing
Right.
stays. Nothing stays. The same. It's
Well,
always in movement.
yeah, Katie, what you were talking about, has been brought up by a few guests
Okay.
on this show, as well as when Bryan and I were uh, helping out on the Three Beards show. Is a lot of guests, have spoken about how their lives changed after seeing Bigfoot. Just say Bigfoot.
Yep.
Were abducted. Your case was becoming very sick from Lyme disease. And I just had lunch with a friend last week, who has been sidelined for quite a few months because of it. And he used to tell me, how much he apologized for the delay in getting together, to talk about some research that we've been working on, but in quite a few examples of shows that Bryan and I have done together, people are coming to the same conclusions. Might have different causes, but they want to, after they get to the other side of getting better, or the event ended, they want to help the world, uh, make the world a better place. Something along those lines. What you're doing sounds very characteristic of such a powerful emotions after a traumatic event.
And what's really interesting, you said something that's very important, that you're continuing your education. We all are
Hmm.
continuing our education. It's I think what we're trying to do is, I think when we're born and we come here as children, we're filled with everything we need to know. And we're, you're giving the baby talk, bop, 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 whatever it is. Oh, he's so, he or she's so cute. And look at the baby talk. And we're telling him, no, idiot, stop putting that crap on your coffee. Start putting in X, Y, and Z, and, you'll cure the cancer. And we're like, oh, let's send them to school. And then they squash all that stuff. Meanwhile, before, you were talking to animals and dogs, you knew everything you needed to know, and you're ready to go. You're just this big. Now, I think when you have that event where, you are really sick, or a near death experience, which someone mentioned in here, I think it was Bino, that the third eye opens up. It does it more than the third eye opens up, because what happens, I think, at this point, you go through this experience, you get to a certain point, and then they say, okay, they're ready. And then they download you, and they awaken you from the slumber. And then you're trying to catch up with what you lost, you know. So that's
Yeah.
just my 2 cents. I'll shut
No,
up now.
no, it sounds good to me. I totally on board with that. I agree with you, because I think that there's a great awakening now. A lot of people are starting to really, I see people all the time,
Uh-huh.
and there is a shift and a change, because when I was doing this, let's say, like 20, 10, 20 more years ago, um it was not the same. It
No.
was it was a very different world, and we
Yeah.
are now in a whole different paradigm. I know that, and I'm sure you guys know that, and your listeners as well. Because really we're at a time now where we're, you know, we're waking up, like we're starting to realize that, we're much more than we really thought. And there's so much that we're meant to do here now in this world. We all have a purpose here. We all have something that
Yep.
we're here to contribute. And, and I mean, not saying everybody has to do this kind of thing, of course, but, whatever it is, it's important to really follow your gut, your inner wisdom, your guidance, your intuition, so that that you're really listening to your higher self. You know that you're not just, hanging out. You're doing something to try to make your life have meaning, and also to find whatever it is that's your purpose, what you're meant to experience here, because we all
Right.
have a purpose. And that's really important to me, because I feel like it's the people that I see now. It's interesting because they start to ask me more about why am I here? Like, what am I doing here? Like, is there a real purpose or reason in my life? And they're starting to question so many more things that I feel is really important now, because we're entering these new times, and it's really, we've never been, I don't think humanity has ever really experienced what we're experiencing now.
I think
And
they have, but it was hushed away. No, no,
yes,
no, no, no. Go to the closet. Don't come down. We've
yeah.
got company now, and the company has made a freaking mess of it all. And now
Mm,
it's starting to, like, people. I think also this could not have happened without. Oh, and I'm going to probably piss people off in chat, but I don't care. If there were no Generation X, we wouldn't be waking up right now.
that's a good point. That's a
Because,
really
yeah,
good point.
I mean,
Yes.
if you grow up in a Gen X type of lifestyle, your feelings mean nothing. You hurt my feelings. Well, suck it up, Buttercup. Let's go. You know, walk it off. Who's heard walk it off? Raise your hand. I know John right now is driving, going, yeah, someone type that in. And we're the ones, even though we knew how to have a good time, there was still a respect factor. We knew how to play with people. I mean, I remember growing up, and everybody, every race, creed, color, whatever you want, orientation was in our group, and we all made fun of each other's mothers. I mean, it's just what you do. You know what I'm saying? And we all would do stupid things. And I think if we didn't have that, we wouldn't have I guess, the foundation to really awaken and not really care what people think.
Perfect. I love that, because that's exactly what I would describe it. It's not caring anymore about whatever anybody thinks. You just do, you do you, you do you.
Could
And
Yeah?
go
Could
ahead.
you imagine that growing up, saying, "Oh, by the way, I see dead people," and be like, "What weed are you smoking? Who's your dealer?" Am I right?
Yeah.
Or, or,
Yes.
or like, hold on, let me try to heal you with some, Reiki energy, and you'd be like, "Get the hell away from me."
Yeah.
People they would totally, like, you'd be done. I was just
Absolutely.
thinking about it. I think it would be funny, you know.
Yeah. But you're right. You're right. It's true, because I'm thinking I've been doing Reiki, gosh, over 25 years. Now, when I studied it, it was in the late 90s. And very few people knew what Reiki was. And you really couldn't even talk about it that much, because people thought you were like bizarre. They
Right.
just didn't, they just wouldn't even like listen to you. So I never really got to do a lot of Reiki practice and work, only with certain people. But I knew that for me, I knew I needed to learn it and study it and become a master, because personally, I knew it was going to change my life. It was going to transform my life, and it did. And I didn't care if other people didn't feel, like, something, they didn't understand it. I just knew that it was important and I had to follow it. And I'm so happy I did, because it just opens up my life in ways that I never imagined. And now it's so wonderful, because You can do Reiki. I mean, people, even if they don't know what it is, they are opening to it. They start to say, "Oh, yeah, let me know. Let me experience this. Let me try this." And more people are actually wanting to learn it. So it's really like a very big shift in
Right.
consciousness, you know? And when I look back in the years when I started doing all this, um yeah, I mean it was like, I felt like I had to be quiet about certain things. If I said certain things, it just did not, people weren't going to go for it. But that's okay. I mean, I just had to still be true to myself. And that's what we all have to do. But now it's so
Yeah.
much better. Now it's so much better, you know.
It's I mean, I remember going into the shop like a year prior, and I'm walking around, and I guess I may have good energy. Some people think I'm a cop. When I walk in, people like I wasn't doing anything. I'm like, yeah, yeah, right, right, whatever, go away. But I do have an energy about me, and I don't know who it was, so I want to thank that person at the crystal shop in Dobbs Ferry, the
Mhm.
custom crystal creations of Dobbs Ferry. So let
Mhm. Yeah.
Stephanie, who owns it, know.
Yes.
We are promoting it.
Okay.
Stephanie, if you want to come on, or whatever, or say, hey, I'll give you, a couple percentage off on the third live eye discount, but whatever. I
Okay.
don't get anything from that. But I remember going there, and someone was really nice, and she's like, oh, I can align your chakras. And I'm like, okay. I mean, you know, but there's something about with the, I don't know what she did, but I'm sure a little bit of a Reiki type of thing.
Mhm. Mhm.
You actually feel there's a heat sensation. There's a sensation from it. Actually, if you start playing around with just pushing your hands together, you can feel there's a difference in the air. I
Yes.
don't do Reiki.
Okay.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, I just I haven't studied it. I tried working healing before, um, and other ways. Like I used to. My aunt was not feeling well, and actually I used my selenite, that big hunk of selenite that I carry with me everywhere I go. And when I tell the doctor, no, I have to take my pants off because I carry rocks in my pockets, they're like, ha, ha, ha. Then I show them, like, okay, take them off. Um, I've got a ton of rocks in my pockets, not just the ones in my head, Al. It's going to get them started. And I remember just the intention is really the importance. Am I correct on that? And I
Yes.
and I started to around her spine just take the stone and kind of hovered over her spine and around it, and she responded, and she was my aunt. It was is 80, like almost 90 years old. She's not a late to the party, and she was like, "Ooh, that feels good," and I was like, "Holy crap, it's working!" I mean, like to a certain degree, I still do that as an investigator. I'm like, "Oh my god, that's a UFO," because 9 out of 10 times, actually 20, like maybe 3 out of 100 times, you'll get something.
Mhm. Mhm.
So
Yes. Yes.
Al says he's being a good guest tonight.
Okay.
You better have
Um,
brought cannolis, Al. That's all I'm gonna say. But I love the fact that you do that, and did you use Reiki to heal yourself in the
yes,
process?
that was my main intention when I started taking it, when I studied it. I wanted to learn self-healing because everything I was doing with all the different practices that I had was really to help me heal because I
Right,
knew that that's my main goal or my intention. So when you take Reiki one level, it's really about self healing. That's the first
right,
level, and I wasn't really thinking about doing, going further. I wasn't sure at the time because I know, like, as you progress, you're going to be working on people. I mean, that's the point. You're going to be doing more of that. But I really wanted to work on myself, and it really made a difference for me. I went through a lot of changes, and I knew that it wasn't easy because it's a lot of letting go. releasing a lot of energy that doesn't work for you.
Yeah,
And
that's a hard part. That's a
that's the
really
hard
hard
part.
part.
That's the hard part. And I mean, it's not, I don't want to make it sound like it's, it's all, peaches and cream. It's not, because you do have to go through, some difficult um, emotions and difficult, experiences, because it's really, you have all these layers of energy that need to be addressed. And when you do this work, it's like peeling, like you've heard this expression, peeling an onion. You
Yeah.
have to do it gradually. You can't just jump in and everything is just going to happen, immediately, because it's really a process. And
Well,
we all have different wounds. We come, lots, all of us, nobody gets out of this, free. We all have to go through something that is not easy. But the point is, if you learn to trust and to believe, in what you're doing, and you let yourself be free in doing it, it will change your life. You will start to see a difference. And that to me is the most amazing thing that we can experience, because we all need it in some way, whether it's a
right.
physical problem or emotional or a mental problem. We all have something. And we're here to help each other. I mean, I feel like that's what we're here to do, you
Mental
know?
problems. Speaking of which, Al, did you bring? Only joke. He's gonna kill me. I'm trying to go to him right now, but he won't do it. But no, you're right about that. Actually, it was really funny when you mentioned peaches and cream. Hillbilly Herb, who is there, was actually cropping a photo fresh peaches, and there are no seriously, there are no coincidences that this is taking place. Yeah, it's either like peeling an onion or herding cats, both of which are virtually impossible to do,
Well,
or in my case, herding daughters, because that's virtually. I mean, like that's that is your final boss battle in life. Like, get your daughters to do something. Not going to happen.
Yeah,
Al, no, I did not forget to take my meds tonight. Lucky me.
yeah.
um,
Katie, I have a
sorry.
question.
Yes.
Just whenever Brian's done.
I'm done. Go
Oh,
for it.
okay. Yeah. You referenced that you weren't too happy with Western medicine. W- Why does uh, why are there so many more people turning to Reiki, some of the Eastern types of healing techniques? Are they more effective because they've been tried, put in practice for a longer period of time? What
That's, go
what?
ahead. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
What? Where are you coming from? Because I think you're on to. I'm hearing a lot of people saying kind of same thing.
Yeah.
I think really, well, I have my own personal opinion about, certain things with Western medicine. I do believe Western medicine certainly has a lot to offer for certain, certain conditions and certain, illnesses and all of that. So I'm not saying that it doesn't work or it's not good for everybody. What I sense though, what I've always sensed was that there's so much more with the Eastern philosophies and the Eastern traditions, because with that, they've been, I mean, in those cultures, they've been using these practices for, thousands of years.
Hmm.
And they have results. And the thing is, when you work, you need to align the spirit and the physical body and the mental and emotional body. And the problem I find is with regular medicine, I guess Western medicine, they treat the body. I mean, they do obviously serve a purpose, and they do provide, curing in certain cases, but they don't look at the whole person.
No.
They really just they reject that, and they just look at, whatever the symptoms are, or what's gonna work the best, or whatever they think is gonna make the difference. And I feel like the Eastern philosophies, they approach things in a much more holistic way, because you have to consider everything. You can't just look at the physical body. You need to involve everything. and
Yeah.
and I feel like that's why it may take longer to resolve an issue or a problem, but you know it's, if it works and it doesn't create any other issues or problems, you have to consider that, because it's going to really treat you in a whole different, comprehensive way, which is really what we all need. I think that's something that, people are realizing now. That's why you just said that you're noticing more people are open to this.
Yeah.
And because they're actually, I feel like they're intuitively feeling it, because they're maybe unhappy with what they've been doing, and they feel like there's another way to go, and that's why they're open to it, because they're realizing that there are other options, there are other ways, and I think it's very important that people are starting to realize that, and
Yeah.
they're trusting their own judgment more, you
Yeah,
know.
like that medical Lysenkoism, where all you people that have that disease, you all get the same treatment. You're all alike.
Right.
It,
And
it,
and
it does it,
Yeah.
it doesn't work. You're not considering the individuality. That's um I I think after, just say over the last, like nearly 50 years, it's like all, the space shuttle and all this like science America's developing, and yeah, okay, like certain medications that um, might cause you to lose your hair, but you still die from
yeah.
this thing. You know, okay, it's like what? How many commercials now say, "Oh, we aren't using that product in this new medicine." Well, it seems like okay, over the last nearly 50 years, some of the medications aren't working, and y- y- w- we're looking for other treatments, and
Yeah.
maybe the after knowing a few people who died of certain diseases, okay, well, let's look somewhere else, because this what we've been doing hasn't didn't work
Right.
for grandma.
Right. And that's why a lot of people, this is when, and it's been about a decade plus. I'm going to say longer than that. When they started to filter in Eastern medicine, which takes in consideration the entire body, is when things started to change a bit. And the traditional Western medicine is like, nope, it's
Yeah,
if it's not in the doctor or the physician's desk reference. Now, what they do is they teach these people, doctors, how what the computer says is what it is. Put the symptoms in, check the boxes, and it'll say A, B, C, and then it'll even give you what you treat them with. And the problem is, and someone came in right now. Um, Here you go. Welcome, William Nighthawk. Big pharma medical insurance is deceptive and evil in every way. Yes, it is. Actually, big pharma is what's driving treatments more so than in the past. When I remember going to the doctor, we would try like, oh, they have a stomach ache, so give them a little Pepto. Then up, it's a little bit more. Let's go to the next level, and then the next level until you have to go and you know go into like a surgical type of thing. They actually try to figure out the problem instead of now just Well, pharmaceutical companies, if you prescribe the anal lube, we're going to give you $50,000 a year, in gift certificates, take you out to dinner. It's not medicine anymore. And I also think what you were mentioning is, I think people are being drawn. It's like that light bulb, like you went through something and a light bulb went up, bing. There's got to be more to this. So maybe that's the key to awakening. And while we have you here, I have a question from Michelle that I'd like to ask. So, Michelle Brandenburg, psychic and paranormal network, says, Katie, as you began your healing journey, what was your first sign you were waking up? How did that make you feel? And how did you process this? This is a great question. We'll let you take over.
Okay. Wow, that is a great question. How did I feel and what was the first sign that I was waking up? Well, the first sign that I remember was the person that I was working with that was a spiritual healer. Um, I felt for the first time that I was in good hands and I trusted this person. And I knew that whatever happened with that experience, somehow it was going to be really good for me. I just trusted it. I had this strong sense that I was doing the right thing for myself and that I was listening to myself. Or I should say, maybe my higher self would be the right way to say it. But I felt like I just knew without knowing how I knew, but I knew that this was the beginning of something that was going to impact me and really start to change, my life and how I felt. Um, I knew that the things that I had been doing prior to that was actually more fear based, because what the fear was that I felt like I went into this world, this medical world, Western medical world, if you want to call it that, where I felt like I was just like a body, and everybody was just trying to, give me medicine or give me this and that.
Mm,
It didn't feel authentic. It didn't feel real to me. It felt like they were just patching me here and there, like
eh,
just giving me something to keep me quiet or
eh,
just, give
You
me whatever.
you get the posters on the wall too. You don't take what we give you. You're on your own, and don't call us if you die. Yeah, there's a
Yeah.
there's like a implied threat.
Yeah, it was a really rough time. I mean, I really, because I didn't know if I didn't know if I was going to get well again. I didn't know if I was going to be okay again, and get my health back. Because I wasn't sure at that point when I was with these people. I did not feel that at all, and I kept feeling like I was going into an abyss. And at that point, that's when I realized that I had to leave that world and get into where I needed to go. And that's what I did. And once I started doing that, trusting that I was going into this esoteric world, which could not explain everything, and I had no way to know for sure if I was going to get my health back. But I knew that I was taking the steps and I was going to do it and I was going to see where it led me. And I trusted it. That was the big thing, was trust for me. Because fear was what I was feeling before that, and the fear just kept me in this prison. It just kept me in this place where I felt like I wasn't free, and I was at the mercy of people that I didn't even know if they cared or if they're going to do anything for me. And that's what happened to me. So once I started on the, working with different practitioners and healers, I knew that that was it. I had no question in my mind that I wasn't doing the right thing for myself. And that's what changed. That's how I experienced it. So I'm just grateful that I had the wherewithal to do this, because I'm not saying everybody can do it or should do it the way I did it, because everyone's different. But I am so glad that I decided to do that, and I was going to make sure that I kept going, and I did. And that's really what happened. So eventually, obviously, I got my health back. I've been fine for many years, and I've been very, very happy and thankful, because I knew that, once I started, I just trusted that it was going to happen. I didn't know how, but it didn't, it's not, we're not meant to know all of that. We have to really believe and trust in higher guidance, higher power. It's just, we need to all be able to do that at some point, because once you do that, you change everything in your life for the better. And that's how I was able to get my health back, and be well, and actually be able to learn how to do this work that I'm doing now, which I'm so happy about, because I love it. I love doing this work, because I know that's really why I'm here. So they say, when you love your work, I mean, there's nothing else that can be better, when you feel that. And that's how I feel. That's been my experience, my journey.
Well,
So
it just doesn't get any better than working with Bryan.
yes. Yes. I was so
But
glad when
you're on
Bryan
mute.
came into the shop, when I met him that day, because he just like, you have such a big personality. You just, your energy is so big and so good. And I just immediately, that's why we started talking, because I felt like, oh, this is somebody who gets things and like really dives in, and really wants to, do what whatever it is that you feel called to do. That's what I see you. I see you that way. And I know that's what you do. And I think that's great. I really do. I think that you listen and you pay attention, and you're doing your thing. You're absolutely doing your thing. Do you believe that? Do you agree with me?
Bryan, you're on mute.
Wow. Thank you. I,
Okay.
I I do agree with you, but I do have people in this house who would disagree with you.
Okay.
And that's
It's
but
okay.
but that's part of the ascension process, and it's not an excuse. And I'm gonna. People have some questions coming up, and if you do have questions for Katie, like what's my next financial position, who's Mister Right, who's Mister Wrong, or whatever it is, just put it in caps. We'll ask Katie, and then we'll, hopefully she can give you an answer right there. I'm getting really like I can't pay every one of you for saying such nice things for me in the chat room, especially my buddy Dave, who is there. But thank you very much. I do appreciate it. But part of the main thing I do have a big personality. I do listen. I do care. I used to be like, what about me? What about me? Because my life was, you know, it's the way it was, and I wasn't too thrilled with it. Um, but you know what? I've learned long ago. I'll get sent back to zero. I'll do what I do, and then I'll get to a certain point, which I get further, and then I get sent back to zero, and then I still do God's work or whatever it is, and then it goes back and forth. Um, but the belief factor is a very big portion of everything. And when people, this is where I laugh my ass off, because when people like, oh, you believe in this Reiki and the energy, and I'm like, oh, you believe in an invisible being called God? Yeah. Or because someone mentioned a guy who was in sandals and a tunic, his name is JC, and you believe in that, but no one was there. Well, that was 3,000 years. I'm like, stop. People are allowed to believe in what they want to believe in. If you want to worship a head of lettuce, worship a head of lettuce. Not my choice personally, but if believing and intention is the pathway to higher vibration and frequency, and then when you vibrate at a higher frequency, all the minuscule things you find it's not important. I'm not even going to entertain it anymore. You know, that's like it's the equivalent of what I'm saying to you is, and everybody there, your third grade science test is absolutely meaningless right now. But at the time, oh my God. And then you realize, when you realize this is garbage, it's meaningless, and you move up and you keep moving up, and you concentrate on things that are really important. Um, some people don't like that because they're all about, like, I was a memory person. I want memories. I need this piece of equipment. I need this and that and all this crap. Um, and yeah, time is an illusion, Dave. At this point, time is. But you realize that you can't take it with you, can't take your money with you. There's only thing you can take into the next life. You can take hate, anger, or you can take love.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
you get a lot more from the love angle than you do the hate and the anger. But if there weren't hate and anger, we would have all these paranormal people in here going, "Turn on the flashlight if you can see this right." And they do all those paranormal investigations. But I choose to go by with more of a love factor. Um, my buddy Dave's like, "I'm taking my guitars." Oh yeah, over your dead body you are. Um, that'll be a different subject. We're gonna have Dave back on eventually, but I did have another question relating to. Here we go. This is from Patrick. Any advice for those that are getting lots of higher self downloads and gifts quickly? Because some people do get it. They open the Pandora's box, and the next thing they know, they're on the fast track to what the hell is going on now. You know. So if you can help someone, this would be great.
All right. Well, with that, that's important. A very important question because everything is happening so much quicker now than ever, and I think it's interesting that he Patrick mentioned this because I'm seeing this happening more and more with people. And the thing is, the confusion or what you're experiencing is normal because the downloads, we're getting them every day. And when that happens, it's really important to ground yourself. You really need to be in your body to really, find ways that make you feel much more connected, especially with your lower body, because that what's happening is there's a lot happening up here, in the energies and the different chakras, and you're getting information now that is happening energetically for you, where you just have to find ways to be more still and more concentrated in your physical body because your body is handling a lot of information, a lot of energy. And these are things that are going to continue because it's not going to slow up or just everything's just going to be different. It's not, because we've now entered a whole new period, I believe. And things are going to happen more quickly than before
Yeah.
because
Like, right.
our vibrations are increasing all the time. And and the thing is, if you're having I'm going to just ask the question. If you're having these experiences where you feel like it's too much or you're overwhelmed, it's really important for you to come back to to spend time. I call meditation is really important.
Yeah.
Meditation is really vital to help you be in your body. And your mind, of course, is always going to be active because the mind never stops. But you can still work with that. And a lot of people have difficulty with meditation for that reason. They think they're going to be, their mind's going to stop and they're not going to have thoughts. You're always going to have thoughts. But you just need to realize that when you come back to that, what I call what's really important is to come back to your breath, because that's physical and you can just feel your body when you're in the breathing state. You just let yourself do that, and then your mind starts to quiet. It gets more still. It's really, really important if you're having these experiences to start doing that every day and really start to also connect with nature, to
Right.
be outside, to really walk, like like barefoot if you can, or do things that really make you feel connected to the earth. Being in that physical body doing those things is really, really important now, because we're getting so much downloads and energy that's coming at us, and you really just have to remember you're still a physical, human being.
Yeah, and
And
you can.
you can forget that. If you forget it, then you're not balanced. You want to have balance. You have to find balance in all of this, and it's not easy, because we're all experiencing this in different ways, but we are.
Right.
And that's really my advice with that, to do that.
And Bina, when you said that to go for a walk, he asked Katie, "Should I go fishing, sit on a rock, and contemplate, be still?" And I think your answer was right there. Yes, we should all do that every once in a while. I actually told him he was doing it right now, but Patrick follows it up with what I'm experiencing is the downloads are answering questions that I've had been asked for a long time. So he's had these questions for a long time, and the downloads are answering them. And wouldn't you say that because he's elevated, he took that leap and he moved up. Now he's ready to get the answers, whereas before he couldn't, because it would have went in one ear and out the other. I mean, this is what we were talking about
Yeah.
with Western medicine. It's the same thing with answers, wouldn't you say?
Yes, because before you were blocked. There were some blocks. And when we're not open to receiving more higher wisdom or higher guidance, we're going to find ourselves really just kind of shutting it down, and then we're not ready to move on. We're not ready to hear the answers. And the thing is, you have to be willing to be vulnerable too. You have to be willing to let yourself feel and experience things, and not to be afraid, because that what you were saying before about love is really important, I believe, because love heals everything. And love is really, love will dissipate fear. And when we start to really, be in a loving state, everything starts to open up and starts to heal. And
Yeah.
this is what you automatically raise your vibration, because love will bring you into a higher state. And this is the beginning of of new life, of healing, and finding your truth, finding out who you really are. And that's what you're looking for. So if you're getting answers, Patrick, at this point, I think that's great, because that means that you've moved on. You've definitely moved on. You've moved beyond what you've been doing all along, and now you're really ready and willing to receive the answers, and find out more.
Yeah, it's well, Patrick says love is what destroyed me. Self love was what built me back. Very
Perfect.
important to. I try to explain this to my youngest, and Al knows my youngest, one of his favorites. She's a piece of work. She's an Earth Angel, and I actually talked to Katie about a little bit about her before, what she would say to me when she was younger. But she came to me and she said, "Daddy, you need to cut the comments off on your video." And I said, "What?" She goes, "Cut the comments off in your video." I said, "Why?" And she was protecting me. Like, well, they're not saying nice things about you. She doesn't know her dad that well. And I said, "No, let them say whatever they want. I'm not a slave to the comment." And I'm trying to explain to her, if you're worried about what everybody else is thinking of you, then you don't think anything of yourself. And when you say, "I don't give a damn what you think of me," and you do what you do, does it get you in trouble sometimes? In weird ways, yes. But if you have truth behind you, if you have the love behind you, nothing can stop that. And yeah, so I mean, I've talked to Patrick a couple of times. I'm, you know, when you do something psychic, do you have to like sit there and for a few minutes and think about it, or does it just come?
It comes in different ways, because when I was studying psychic development, I wanted to focus on what were my strongest senses. And for me, the most, I would say, the most powerful one is clairsentience, which has to do with feeling, because that's who I am. And I came into the world that way. So that I often tell people, like, I feel, but that's because I'm receiving information that is moving through my feeling body. And what happens is, I spent a lot of time developing that because I needed to learn how to navigate, and how to trust it and believe in it. Um, because it takes a while for you to actually be able to do that. You just don't, start doing it. You have to really believe. And a lot of what people say, imagination, you think it's true. I mean, you start to question, like, am I really getting this right information? Is this accurate? And the thing is, you just have to believe that you are, because if you don't, then you're closing the door. You're shutting it down. And for me, I had to spend time learning. Also, I'm very sound oriented. I'm very sound, because I do sound healing. So for me, sounds are I have very good hearing. And I'm also very like, I can differentiate sounds in ways, that most people, I don't think, probably do. But I developed a sense of clairaudience, because I hear now. I hear words. I hear things that come to me. And I know that's from my guides, or it could be from my higher self, but I know I'm hearing it. So for me, the two most important senses are hearing and feeling. And sometimes it's clairvoyance. I worked on that as well, because sometimes I will get visions, or I will see something that will come to me. It's like in your mind's eye. It's like your third eye.
Yeah,
You just,
yeah, it just plays out, and you know it as if you know your own name.
yeah.
So you were thinking about, you know, angels and guardian angels that would speak to you. I have a couple of standard questions for psychics whenever I meet them.
Okay.
The first question is, what are the lottery numbers? Um, and they all do the same thing. Everybody laughs. What's the Mega Million numbers and the Powerball numbers? And I know you're not allowed to have it. So, you know what? If I have to, I will share a little bit here. But, whatever. If you want to give those numbers right now before it gets to 10 o'clock in New York State, yeah.
I'm
And then this,
sorry. I can't do it. I
I
can't
know,
do
because
it.
everybody has the same thing. And I'm like, if I could do it, I wouldn't be giving them to you at this point. Mark and I would be sharing it and starting our evil lair someplace in the the Caribbean. And the second one is, I always ask this:
Mhm.
who are my guardian angels, and why do they drink? Because there is none of them. No. So, do you ever communicate with other people's guardian angels? And do they ever? And I'm going to be a little bit of a wise guy here. Do they ever say to you, "Listen, this one's a prima donna, the other one's an asshole," and you're like, "Oh, okay." No, no, I'm not
Um,
kidding. I'm not kidding about that,
no, I know
because
you're not. I know you're not.
some of them can be like, very forward with what they're going to say.
Yes. Yes, in fact, it's funny because sometimes with certain clients that I've had, um, um, I know I'm connecting with their angels or their guides, their spirit guides,
Right,
because they're telling me words I don't use. They're telling me words and phrases that I never use. and
right.
and I know it's not coming from me, or the way I would do it. So when that happens, I know I'm getting downloaded information from them, because there are things I don't usually say. And when I do
Right.
that, I know exactly what that means. And usually it's very, like you said, it's very upfront. There's no question about it. They'll just say what it is. And that's what I tell people. I just speak the way they speak, you
Right.
know?
Which is a
Yep.
great way, and that is a good thing because I've actually said things to people. I'm like, they're telling me X, and they're like, "Oh my god," and I'm like, "Okay, so it means something to you." But it's some word I've never used in the vernacular, unless I know,
Yeah,
they're
of
asking
course.
for Timmy's, and when they say Timmy's, they mean Tim Hortons, and I've dealt with a lot of people from Canada. Our
Oh,
friendly,
yes. Tim
our friend,
Horton.
yeah, our friendly neighbor from the north. But Michelle Brandenburg, psychic says, "Here's a funny question: do you ever wake up for hearing your spirit team talking about you and giggling?" Which that's just a great question. It's like, oh shit.
Oh, I know they have a good sense of humor, and I know I've heard them laughing. I've heard them laughing, and I know it's on me. But that's fine. I'm good with it. I have no problem with that. I don't take it the wrong way, because I really know that they're there. They're just they have actually a good sense of humor, and I
Yep.
want to have a good sense of humor too. So I don't look at it like you got to keep it lighter. Sometimes you just need to be lighter about it. And so I love the part about the giggling, though.
Yeah, yeah.
I love to laugh, so that's not a
Well,
problem.
I've been in, through, I took, oh, Jen's going to kill me. Jen is from the Paranormal Newfoundland podcast and Boots on the Ground team. And if you want, I will love to connect Katie with everybody that wants to speak to her and have them have Katie on her show. Mark Eddy, you have to go through Mark Eddy Productions if you want him on your show. But um, yeah, it's there's a lot of things that take place where you get into a situation, and I had psoriasis and whatever it was, eczema, combination of both. It was miserable. You're breaking out, which is partially because of stress, and it's everything is in your gut, um, for the most part. So this one doctor gave me steroids to take for a month. Well, I wasn't feeling well, and it felt like I had food poisoning. My stomach bothered me. So after a while, I said, "Oh, you know what?" I asked to go see the doctor. He says, go to the doc in the box at WestMed, and you know where WestMed is, and it's a Westchester Medical Group, whatever.
Hmm.
So I go in early in the morning, and whenever you go, come on, everybody knows. They always take, leave it, fill the cup up, leave it in the whatever, and then if they'll do blood or whatever. They just did that, and the nurse came and goes, "Oh, and you're diabetic," and I'm like, "No, I'm not. I've been higher on the bell chart, bell curve, but I'm not diabetic." And she's like, "What?" And then they said, "You know what? We're gonna take some blood." So when they did the blood, it took a really long time. Actually, I think they must have done it probably two or three times just to make sure, because they came in. They were like, "Oh, you're going to the hospital now, and thankfully you have someone here to drive you." And I'm like, "What the hell's going on? For a stomach ache?" They go, "Your blood sugar is 502." And I'm like, "Well, when it gets to 506, sell." So basically, what happens is steroids will jack up your blood. That's one of the things that would happen. Um,
And
and
the
yeah,
staff didn't know that.
well, no, the staff didn't know because I wasn't thinking of the correlation. It just wasn't feeling right. Wasn't feeling bad. Wasn't feeling like I'm going to be in a coma.
Hmm.
Um,
Okay.
yeah, steroids definitely messed it up, Jack. um, and then you get into these situations where they put me in the emergency room. They're pumping me up, and my other half goes to pick up the kids. Takes my shirt. I said, "Take my stuff." So you don't want to leave it there. And then A few minutes later, you're a mess because you've been there since in the morning. Talk about hair or whatever. My hair is just froed out like this. My
Mhm.
beard is all over the place. I don't have a shirt, but I could swear I heard people like my guides laughing, going, "He's not gonna like this one" or whatever it was. And I just had that vibe. But they gave me one of those paper shirts that looked like a doctor's whatever half shirt, and I had all the things. They just told me to get it, leave the hospital,
Mhm.
and I understood why they would be laughing at me because when I actually passed the mirror, I looked like some crazy ass homeless guy. The only thing missing was talking to myself. I told you to give me $1. You wouldn't give me $1. And by the time everybody else, like the wife picked up the kids and they went to pick me up, they have pictures. They're taking. Once they start taking pictures of you, just give them the finger, because they're going to make fun of you at that point. But yeah, it's funny when you hear them giggling. But that was a great question right there. I think we have another one. And Mark, do you have a question for Katie in relationship to your existence right now, or what's going on in personal life versus work related versus maybe she can help you out.
Uh,
But while you're
but
thinking of
it,
that,
it's all the same.
it's all
I
the
just
same. It is
no,
all
I
the
did.
same.
Um,
We'll get to you in a second, Patrick.
I did have a question, but when we've been talking. I'm really fascinated with the concept of Western medicine having a lot of flaws, but we can go in that to another show. But there's um, some aspects of uh, Reiki that are drawing people as help being able to help others. Um, you can go back 2,000 years to like the laying hands on people. Is that is there some kind of overlap of um, some of the practices in Reiki and some of the medical techniques used in the New Testament?
Yeah, I think that would be a good way to describe it because with Reiki, it is laying of the hands. But it's really not you doing the healing. You're just the conduit. You're the instrument to allow the energy to come through. And in this case, I consider it, you know, divine intervention because I am just there. My hands are there laid on the person, and I'm not sending the energy. I'm not doing the actual healing work. I'm just being like the messenger. I'm
Hmm.
allowing the energy to come through me because that's my intention. Like you said before, intention is so important because in Reiki, it is like laying of the hands, spiritual healing, which is what people did, many, many thousands of years ago. And people still do it now. But Reiki is a little different in terms of how you work with it and how you develop it. And so Reiki is really has always fascinated me because it can be done it can be done in person or it can be done long distance, and
Yeah.
I've done a lot of long distance work. And when I do Reiki on someone, um, I also receive guidance or I get psychic information that comes in when I'm doing it. But it doesn't, I'm not going to talk about that, during the session because that's not the most important thing for me to do at the time. But it's interesting because when I work with people now, when I do Reiki, I will talk to them after the session to let them know whatever came through that, I can share with them. Because really, it's just, you're just there to guide the energy. You're not, you're not sending the energy from yourself. It's really you just being a vessel, to allow it to come through. And the thing is, I'm just thinking about what you're saying about, the laying of hands, because for me, it's really about, you know, I'm just really here to provide. And that's how I see it. I'm not, we really heal ourselves. We really heal ourselves. And when I say I'm doing this healing work, I'm just there to provide, but I am not sending the healing. The healing comes from source, or whatever your belief is, in God, whatever that is, because that's where that's where it comes from. And we heal ourselves. When you open to receiving it, when you're willing to do this and receive it, you're showing the universe that this is, you're willing, and you're just allowing things to come, and you're accepting. And that's really what you want to do. And that's how I see this energy work, because it's very powerful. It works, it goes exactly where it's needed. And that's been my experience. And I've been doing this, like I said, for, over 25 years. And I've never seen it, fail.
Right. One of the
So,
let's. I'm going to get
okay.
back to the question from Patrick. Patrick says, Katie, do you feel the universe foreshadows things before you are ready for the truth?
That's a really good question. Shadow. Wow.
Oh, Patrick may win the cookie tonight.
Oh my goodness. You said you're using these fancy words, and I love it. Because I have some guys that use very fancy words when they communicate with me. But I want to give this a thought for a moment about the
Sure.
universe, because this is really like, I love this question, actually. Um, Sometimes when I allow myself to be in the state where I'm working with someone, and I'm doing either energy work or psychic work, I know that something will come to me that may not be necessarily what I thought or what I was thinking, because basically what I was doing was I was getting into my mind, which is not what you do when you do this work.
Right.
So that's when I know, if I start going down that road, I know that I've let something, interfere and change the way I'm meant to do this. And so sometimes it may not be something I like to hear or want to hear, but if it's something that I have to allow and just let it be and accept it, it might take me a little bit of time to just go there. Because especially if I feel, if there's a connection with someone, if I have like an emotional connection with someone, that's when I have to become much more aware. And it's not always easy, but you never know. I just let myself, I have to sometimes take a step back. and
Right.
and that's what, I think that's what most people would do anyway. So um yeah, I mean, this is something I'm still, I'm not 100% perfect here. So I know there are things that I still have to learn, and it never ends. It just keeps going, and I just have to be open to it.
Yeah, it's really interesting that, um, I had somebody when I was on a show just reach out and say, talk to me about their husband. He wasn't home, and this her son. They're worried about him and whatever, and they asked me if he's going to be all right. Initially, I'm not uh instantaneous type of person that could read them, but this came in and I did it, and I told her everything, and I was right. But that's not the point. The point is sometimes you need to really just you have a preconceived idea, and then you have what's real truth, and you got to see if they overlap, or if you're, because sometimes as humans we want to kind of navigate, and we don't even though we're open more so, we don't necessarily release to the beings that we should. And I can't find that picture of me from the hospital, so I'm gonna go back to um, there's a let me see, there's if there's another, oh, there's a question from Al Santariga. Santagra, is it Mrs. Santagra? Al says, question is, your guardian angel and spirit guide one and the same?
No, no. Okay. Um, Spirit guides, okay, because this gets a little tricky, this whole subject area. Um, because I believe that most people, are taught that, we were born with guardian angels, guardian angel. And
Right.
and basically that angel's with you for, the whole of your life. Um, I I do believe that's true. I do believe there is a guardian angel always there with you. But the spirit guide is is another story. Spirit guides can change. You can have different spirit guides for different purposes and different parts of your life. Like I know like some of the guides I've had when I first started becoming more, conscious, I guess would be the good word. Um, that they no longer are with me. I have different guides now because as I change and hopefully grow and evolve, there are different guides available that are going to work with you, that are going to be right there and be able to help you the best way they can for you. So it's like you go through stages, you change, and the guides change as well. But I do feel the guardian angel is not the spirit guide. There's a difference. The guardian angel, it doesn't really, I don't feel like the guardian angel speaks to me in the way that the guides do. It's a different, it's a different energy. Just a different feeling. And, as I said, the guides, you'll have different guides over the years. And as you go on, continue, on your life. And it's interesting because they do change. I had a period where I had one guide that was actually would speak to me in ways and using words that I didn't even know the meaning of. I mean English, of course. I'm not saying another language, but these were words that I wasn't even using in my vocabulary. I actually had to look up some of the words because they were obviously, this was a very, I guess, advanced. I don't know if I shouldn't say advanced, but I guess words were important to this particular guide.
Right.
And it was good for me because it opened up my mind in a way to allow myself to learn more and to be more expressive, and I loved it because I was learning, and I felt like maybe that was part of the reason it happened that way.
And that is why I always ask, who are my spirit guides and what do they drink? But I did find the image, and I'm going to share it with you right now. Here comes
Okay.
the homeless guy. Yeah, that was fun. It's always nice to be, on the streets of New York with with medical bands on your wrist, hair all over the place, in one of those paper shirts. Yeah, it's fun. I mean, I highly recommend it. But we're going to
But
put Katie back into the point spot right now.
it could be setting some standards for new fashion trends with the paper shirts.
I'll tell you, not only do you have a paper shirt, but you don't have to use napkins at that point. You just use the paper shirt.
It's disposable.
It is
Or,
disposable.
or
And
and maybe
you
even
already,
recyclable.
yeah, probably. Um,
Okay.
yeah, so yeah, Patrick says we're going to probably do that, Patrick. I'll put that up there sometime. When I did when I had the heart attack issue, I didn't
Mhm.
have guides, but I did have images of individuals that came to me because I
Right.
think they were like, "Should we talk to him? He's going through a heart attack. Stop talking to him. Just do what you do." Um, and then after that, when they released me, I purposely kept the gown, whatever that thing is, where your ass is always hanging out. And didn't let him cut anything off. And I rang my neighbor's door. I'm like, hello, and had my wife call, and they're like, I'm at the hospital. I can't find Bryan. I went, ding dong, ding dong. She says, oh my God, I think that's him at the door. And I'm like, you got to hide me. They don't know that I left the hospital.
Oh
Just
my
played it,
God.
just to play the game. So,
Oh my God.
but yeah, it's just the fun stuff that we do. Do you foresee? Let's go with the foreshadowing one more time. Is there something that is currently on your mind that you can talk about that you're unnerved about?
You
That
you
like
talk-
like I'm talking about, like it could be, you know, like a world type of event or something that you're unnerved because not because you're personally going to get injured, but you may have like a premonition or a prediction, and we're not going to hold you to it, mind you. This is to introduce everybody to you, and if someone wants to ask, should I get into, fashion? I'm sure you can sit there and go, yes, or whatever it is. But
Mhm.
is there something that is you feel is coming right now that it's unnerving you?
Well, I've had I don't like some of these I don't know if you want to call it premonition because I don't sure if it is or not, but I there is one thing that I've seen that has happened that I've seen more than once. Um and I'm not sure where or when, but it's about it's an earthquake. It's some kind of an earthquake, but it's not in a foreign country. I feel like it's somewhere closer to home. And what I'm seeing is
Keep going, keep
very
going.
scary, very scary. I see streets opening up. I see people and vehicles going into the cracks and all of that. And I see fire. I see a lot of fire because things are falling apart, because of the earthquake. And it seems like it's a very populated area. It's not like a small rural area. It's like city. It's like a very busy, active area. And I really try not to always look at the news when it comes to like these events, but of course I will listen if it comes up. But I've been getting this more than once, and it really is troubling for me. I really feel like it gets really under my skin, and I'm not able to get more information from my guides, so I don't know like what it means and why it's happening in my why I'm getting these visions or how it's happening. But I don't get a lot of premonitions, but when something like this comes through, I feel like there's a reason and I have to pay attention to it. So that's all I can say at this point about it. I'm not sure where or what and if, but I do believe that it's a very strong feeling that I get, that's very it's disturbing.
How
It's
long
very
has it been
disturbing.
happening?
It's been happening, I would say, for the last
Since you met you, Mark. Since you met you.
no, 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 we won't say that.
Come
Um
on, make it fun, Katie. Make it
all
fun.
right.
No, no, no,
Okay.
no, no,
I don't
no.
know, Mark. I guess Mark, you must have an impact here somehow. You're affecting my energy here.
I'm laughing
I'm
in a
shaking
good
your
way.
world.
There you
Yes.
go.
Oh, very good. That's perfect. That's exactly it. You're shaking it up for me.
Last
Oh
couple
my
of
God.
months, would you say within the last 6 months?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right. All right.
Yeah. So
So,
that's all I can tell you. I can't say anything
okay.
else right,
Well,
right now.
this is actually very interesting because I predicted a major earthquake
Hmm.
in Alaska that is going to be so significant it's going to fracture the land. It'll be physically different. And I've also had this reoccurring download feeling, whatever you want to call it,
Mm-hmm.
about one taking place in New York City, a significant quake for New York City.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a significant quake in New York City is if you get to the 3, the 4, and the 5, that's a big quake for New York City.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it gets worse each time you do it.
Probably
Yeah.
three on the Richter scale would be very high.
I mean, 2.7, you're kind of getting into the train, the
Mm-hmm.
overhead trains or the subway going through, the rumbling.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you get into the 3 zone and up to 4s,
Mm.
this city's not built for that.
No. No.
It would be beyond devastating, but I did see that for this summer. And I hope it is well after August um, 8th because I want to be the hell out of the city. That's another reason why I'm when I came up, um, I got nervous and I always get stressed out being here because it's just a stressful thing. You
Mm-hmm.
know, not that Florida is a heavenly space for people,
Mm-hmm.
but it's totally different. And I've been having this, and I've been mentioning it. New York City, get prepared, New York metro area. It's not going to be a joke. It's not just Manhattan or the boroughs. It's going to be Westchester. It's going to be Jersey. It's
Mm-hmm.
going to be,
Mm-hmm.
Staten Island, some other stuff. So,
Yeah, I think it's more in, not so much like when you mentioned Alaska, I feel like it could be more like New York. Um, not necessarily I think that's probably why I had this sense of, foreboding or something, because it just feels it feels very uncomfortable because I do
yeah,
think that could be true.
and it's like, you know, a major earthquake hits New York City, buildings are coming down.
And
And
fires.
well, the
Yeah,
fires come from the ruptured old
gas
gas
lines.
lines,
Mm-hmm.
and boom, those go up, and then the fire truck can't get to point A, B, and C, so
Yeah.
then they have to look. I mean, it's going to be a real bad mess, and it's unfortunate because, again, I don't. Even if I don't like you, I don't wish ill will on you. And I've said it. I don't have time. Like, if you're a piece of whatever, I'm like whatever. But I'm not gonna wish you dead.
No, of course
I
not.
I always I've learned a long time ago that what's coming to you, if you are a piece of crap, you'll get, and it's going to be a lot more than I could ever done for you, or to you. So that's where with people like, if I don't like somebody, I'm just usually I walk away unless there's a point where I have to speak up, and then I speak up.
Mm-hmm.
Someone
Okay.
asked in there, Harlan said, while we're on the prediction thread, she said, Katie, what do you foresee by the end of 2025? Please say 2026.
Oh, I think she said 2025.
Yes, the end of 2025, I foresee 2026 coming forward. Mark, what
Well,
do you think? I want to have Mark Eddy do predictions one day. I think we're going to do
Uh,
that show one day.
yeah, that might be a really short show.
No, we're going to have you throw out some predictions, but we're going to let Katie do it.
okay.
If she's seen anything, if she doesn't, it's fine.
I'm, I, a lot of what comes to me now, I find has to do with, our present, I guess, political system, and that's an area that I always find tricky to be, to kind of be involved in,
Right.
because it's such a touchy, everybody has obviously their own feeling and opinions about everything. But I do feel that our government, our political structures are dissipating somehow. It's not going to be, we're going to be going through some major changes, in just how we do things, and in what we've been experiencing, in our I guess our society for so long, especially in regards to our government, because I feel like things are just breaking down,
Yeah.
and we're headed in an area that we've never experienced before, and it's going to really shake things up, in ways that, every person, I feel, is going to have to kind of, come to terms with that and with themselves, because, we're not going to be able I don't think we're going to be able to avoid that. I think it's going to be something that we're all going to be having to deal with, on a personal and a collective level.
Well,
And
yeah.
you know what I'm saying, right?
Yeah. No, no, I
And
know what you're saying.
and the thing is, it's not going to be easy, because we're going to have to really, I feel like we have to be strong and very courageous, and we have to really stand in our truths and who we are. And this is going to be, it's about the individual, but it's also about, the collective, because,
Right.
we can't avoid it. you know we're not going to be able to do that. I don't think so. So things are going to show up, I believe, that may not be easy for us to accept or understand, but we're going to have to, be willing to face it, and deal with whatever comes our way with that, because it's just, we can't depend on things to be the same and to be the way they've been, because it's
Yeah.
not going to be like that.
I
It's
think,
not.
yeah, I think there's, again, I foresaw numerous times. I do a remote viewing session August 4th of every year. One year I couldn't. And I've seen this in every year I've done it. I came back and somehow I felt like I was coming into like almost the village area, like an outdoor market, and people were buying stuff. I've been like 14th Street, but I wasn't. It didn't look exactly like it. It was really nice, but everybody had rifles over their shoulders, and
Mhm.
I'm like everybody except for little kids, and I'm thinking, oh, maybe I'm in Israel, because the only place I've ever seen that in the market is with people with rifles is Israel, because you go to the military, you get to carry your weapon, whatever it is, and then the information comes to you. And I realized this isn't Israel. This is the United States of America. It is now a law that every citizen of a certain age has to carry a rifle on them. We're not playing games anymore. We, the people, had enough. And if you do something, illegal, or, we're not going to go to court with you. You're going to be dispatched where you were. So if you go to rob a McDonald's, you're getting killed right then and there. Well, you're being judgment is being applied at that very moment. We're not going to waste our time and effort and energy with any of this stuff. And what was really interesting is it's kind of an aggressive policy, but it puts all these people that are politicians and career politicians and filling their pockets and screwing everybody else, just in general, on notice. And it was a noticeably, there wasn't that anger anymore. People knew they had the right, and we're not playing games anymore. And it was a great little. It felt good. It was like I could live in this situation. You know, you have a right to self-preservation, and we're not letting you take our rights away from you. So there's no more high treason. There's no more corporations trying to manipulate X, Y, and Z. You're you're literally held accountable right then and there, like you should in life.
Yeah,
And it was weird when you said that, like when you said this, you see a change coming. Um, that was very much similar. Like some of the older people can't handle that. Like
I
the
know.
law and order. Some of the
I know.
younger people just don't have the manners to deal with it. And there's a group of, there's a smaller group of individuals that like, all right, it'll be a little bit awkward, but we can do this. We've done something similar at keg parties, so everybody has a cup. Okay, good. And I know
Mhm.
that's an analogy. It's kind of funny to use, but that's the truth. Growing up in high school, you went to a party and you were like, "Where are the cups?" And you paid for your cup. Everybody paid the same amount of money for the cup. We're all equal, you know,
Yeah.
and everybody was really cool. Hey, don't do that. What are you spilling that out for? There's a little bit of a, I don't know if it's democracy or the right everything at that point, because the politics and the BS go away. Well, I know Steve. Like, well, we all know Steve. Pay for the cup, and then you have to get through it. But we had someone else saying something, and I knew this crap was going to come up, and I'm going to say it. And I don't want to get into politics, because then we veer off into where we are.
Yeah,
But
I
I'm
know.
going to ask it anyhow because it comes from the Woo train. You're not going to like this. Question: what does Katie believe will happen with the Epstein stuff? You knew somebody was going to say it.
Yeah, I figured that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Yeah. That I think that takes some time to like really sit there and meditate on that for about a week,
Yeah,
because yeah, that's
that's
a
a
tough
tough one to
question.
answer. I don't know if I can answer that one.
Yeah.
Um,
And we're not going to
that
put you on the spot to answer that because that gets into a
yeah, that's
really crazy
a
area.
whole nother territory that we're getting into. Um, yeah, I don't think it's that simple, and it's not going to
No,
be easily resolved. So we know that, but
not for
there's going
you,
to be
Dr. Wu. Yes.
Dr. Wu,
Yeah,
Dr.
yeah.
Wu. I love
Wu
that.
Wu writer. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he said lay it on me. I'm like, no, it gets into a touchy subject.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know,
It's we're getting into the deeper stuff that just can't be easily taken care of. It
right,
just doesn't come that way. So these are things that we're going to see more and more of these types of situations. And this is, to me, this is a time it's about the individual, and I can see with the new generation, it's self-expression, and it's really about being there for the individual, because this is important. We're not just we're not sheeple, we're people.
right.
And this is the time, and I think that's where the changes are coming. And that's gonna I believe it's gonna happen. It's just a matter of when and how.
Yeah,
That's the awakening you've been talking about.
Hmm.
yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
Beth is saying it's a very touchy subject. It really is. Even Wu said a lot of people's heroes won't be so heroic once the truth comes out. This is the
Mhm.
problem with this, and you're gonna be so damn surprised at what the truth is about this. And so, cover your mouth moment. Some people are not gonna recover from what's taking place.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, it has reaches in every aspect of life.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that is even the most trustworthy people you're supposed to have trust for. So, you know, um, just be weary of it. And
Do you foresee Craig doing a chefing show?
yes, Craig Ansel was in here. I'm just going to pick something up. I do foresee him doing, what is it, Joey Medea's chef show. How to make a pancake. I don't know. I'm trying. Craig was the one that started a program called the Three Beards Podcast, which was on every Wednesday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Right,
Mhm.
and that's where I met Mark Eddy. I was a guest on there a couple of times. They said, "Oh, we really like the way you think and what you say." I'm like, "Okay." So then I come on as a co-host, and then it's a lot of work to do for a person. You got to get the gas, you got to set things up, you got to monitor all the chat. No one's paying you X, Y, and Z to do it. Then you've got people around you like, are you done? Are you done? No, I'm not done. Like it's easier when you
It,
have your own play space
but
to do it.
Bryan kept the theme going of I get paired with all the women guests because I don't have a beard, and
Yes.
most likely the women guests don't have a beard, and Kay would be one of them who is normal, but you never know the kind of guest Bryan's going to find. But yeah, this is part of the theme that I have to keep. I've been dealing with for what 3 years.
Yeah, it's been 3 years, but we treat you nice and you get treated properly, so you're good. Even
Good to
though that
know.
we're gonna put on hair on the ears and put him in a white tunic and have him say, "Help me, Obi-Wan. You're my only hope." That's what
Aw.
we're gonna have him do. No. Mark is actually fantastic. He's funnier than funny, and we like to, like I said, we do shows, but they have to be entertaining for people.
Of course.
And
There's good
you
information
know,
presented as well.
yeah. So if somebody wants to reach out and touch you and get a reading, or get some healing, or where could they find you, Katie? And also, I'm going to ask you to come back on, and then maybe we'll do like a full prediction show, or
Okay.
maybe we'll have you do like, all right, Katie's we're gonna the first couple minutes we're gonna talk about things new, and then we're gonna have you answer questions like, should I get a goldfish or a catfish? Whatever the questions are.
Okay. All right. Okay. So the best way to reach me right now, I'm getting a new website set up, so I don't have it set yet. But I'm on Facebook. You can reach me at Heart to Heart with Katie on Facebook,
Aha.
and on Instagram, you can find me under Katie Ciriello.
And I will put that into uh, the description of the show.
Okay.
And I actually put the Facebook, I believe, profile of probably the custom crystal creation. So tell Stephanie,
I will.
have her come on, and then
I
we'll
will.
update that information. But I hope you didn't have a bad time on our show. It kind of
I
went by fast, so that's always a good sign.
Haven't you seen me smiling so much? I mean, this
Yeah,
whole time I've been smiling because I mean, there's been you are amusing. You are amusing.
we we are.
I'm getting used to you. I'm getting used to it, and I love it because it just makes things, it just stirs it up and makes it feel good.
Yeah, I
So
mean, like they
I'm
probably should. Go ahead. Sorry.
no, I'm getting I appreciate that you had me do this today. I really do. And I feel like you said, it was going to be a good experience, and it has been. And I really feel good about this. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't feel, there's no pressure here. I just feel like I'm being myself, and I'm enjoying what's coming, the whole experience. It's been great. It really has. So thank you for that. I really am
Well,
grateful.
I do appreciate it, and like you said, I know, and there aren't coincidences that I walked into the store and I was looking for selenite, which I broke. It's in my pocket now.
We'll get you
But
some more. We'll get
yeah,
you
yeah,
some
yeah.
more.
Well, I'm looking for that the rounder
All
flat
right.
piece. But
Yes.
I will be at the Gettysburg Battlefield Bash starting tomorrow.
Wow.
Over in Gettysburg at the Eisenhower Hotel, and it's a 3-day event, probably 4 now, to raise money for Gold Star families, Blue Stars, and people that definitely need help. So hopefully somebody there selling some kind of selenite, and I'll put my hands over it, whatever. But I knew this
Worthy
was going to be
cause.
yeah, I knew it was going to be a great event,
It
and
is.
it was better than the alternative, which was Mark Eddy stripping for dollars at a time. And we can't have anybody slip him money because it's virtual. So
There
we
you
would have
go.
gotten like, PayPal hits. Like, Mark, you got a one.
Well,
Click.
I'm not. Would Bitcoin count?
Bitcoin would be great, but no one's giving you a Bitcoin to get, to strip up there.
Ah,
And if they
God.
do, whoever it is, marry them. Okay,
Yeah, they
that's
don't
all
know
I'm
what
gonna
they're
say.
missing.
Yeah,
Oh God. Uh,
but I want to thank you again. And next week we have Julia Sims on, and we're going to be talking cryptids out of Florida. And Julia is another interesting individual. She has a musical past, but I think we're just going to focus on the cryptid end of it. But she's fantastic. Friends of Stevie Strings, and Chris, and a part of the Creature Man group, which I'm also part of the Creature Man group. And I can't wait to get back to Florida to go experience the Creature Man group again, and have them watch me sleeping one more time, like a voyeur. There's nothing like a Bigfoot checking you out while you're sleeping, and you see the breath streak, condensation pick up, and you're like, not today, big boy. Like too tired. But yeah, you
I'll
know,
ha- I'll have to, I'm sorry to interrupt, but my husband's going to have to watch and listen to your Bigfoot cryptids program, because he loves to follow this. He's like you. He really is interested in this.
well,
It's a
it,
So
fascinating subject.
yeah.
it is a fascinating subject, and tell him that if he goes to upstate New York, not that far up, there are Bigfoots there as well as in northern New Jersey. But we'll get back to it again. Thank you, Katie, for coming on. Mark Eddy, thank you again. Love you to death, brother. I want to thank everybody that's been in chat and answering some great questions. And the conversation in the chat is great, and that's why I keep it up online in the recording, so you can follow along and see who's being good and who's being bad. Usually it's me. I think Al went to sleep because Ori went to watch Golden Girls or Matlock, because he's at that age now, and he's gonna kill me. And tomorrow he won't. But we do the same thing every time. We start this show with Ron McGrath's music, then my Bowden rap thing I wrote, and then we end it with my song "You." Because if it wasn't for all of you, I wouldn't be doing this, and I'd probably be in prison. So, only joking, everybody. Have a blessed rest of the week, and come to Gettysburg. Bye.
You, it's always been you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I've seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you. True love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. I love you. God showed me you. I have been searching decades for you. I found you, I lost you. My heart is broken without you. My soul aches for you. I need you, I want you. My days are filled with you. I have seen the future with you. My home is with you. I have felt the future with you. My nights are filled with you. Love is you, true love is you. Love is you, true love is you. My happiness is you. Every past life is with you. My dreams are filled with you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you. I will fight for you. I will defend you. I will give up my life for you. Whatever it takes for you. Nothing else matters but you. I love you. I love you. Life is meaningless without you. My future is with you.